The graffiti scrawled on the wall was an eerie reminder of the unidentified skeleton found in the hollow of a tree just months earlier. But who was Lou Bella and who wrote the graffiti? This is the case of the Hagley Wood Mystery. Let's step into the cold. 18th of April 1943, Witchbury Hill, Worcestershire, England. For 4 local boys, that particular Sunday was supposed to be full of fun and friendship. Robert Hart, Bob Farmer, Fred Payne and Thomas Willits were illegally poaching in Hagley Wood, located near Witchbury Hill. The friends came across an imposing Wych-Elm and, thinking it would be a good place to hunt birds' nests, Bob Farmer decided to climb the tree in order to see what he could find. But Farmer got more than he had bargained for. Staring at him from inside the hollow trunk was a skull. At first Farmer was unsure if the skull was human or animal, but upon noticing the human hair and teeth it became very clear to the boy. The skull was placed back in the hollow and the 4 friends promised to one another that their discovery would remain a secret. Thomas Willits, however, was so upset by the find that he confided in his family, who contacted the police upon hearing the story. The skull wasn't the only item to be found in the tree. Upon investigating, the police found a nearly complete skeleton, a gold wedding ring, shoes, and fragments of clothing. Scattered near the tree were finger bones. The man tasked with the forensic examination of the bones was Professor James Webster. He determined that the skeleton was that of a female and that she had been dead for at least 18 months. This placed the woman's time of death around October 1941. Her age was approximately between 35 and 40, and she had given birth in the past. Professor Webster listed the cause of death as murder due to asphyxiation, as a piece of taffeta was found inside her mouth. Using the fragments of clothing found with the skeleton, Professor Webster described the woman's outfit to police, saying it consisted of a mustard skirt, a blue and yellow striped cardigan, a light blue belt, blue crepe-soled shoes, and a peach-coloured taffeta underskirt. Finally, Professor Webster reasoned that the woman's body had to have been placed in the hollow trunk feet first, and while still warm, as it would have been impossible to do this once rigor mortis had set in. At that moment in time, England was fighting in World War II, and the vast amount of people being reported missing during the war meant that it was very difficult to find out exactly who the woman was. The police even searched dental records across the country as she had distinctive teeth. This search proved to be fruitless. The case soon turned cold. Then the graffiti began. At Christmas 1943, the words "Who put Lou Bella down the Wych-Elm" were found in nearby Old Hill. More graffiti found in Birmingham read "Hagley Wood Bella." Eventually the graffiti settled on one message: "Who put Bella in the Wych-Elm?" From then on, the woman in the tree hollow became known as Bella. Disturbingly, the messages appeared to have been written by the same hand. Did someone know more than they were letting on? Even though the case went cold, many theories have been put forward regarding who Bella was and how she ended up in the Wych-Elm. One theory suggested that Bella might have been a Birmingham prostitute who went missing around the same time Bella had died. Another theory proposed that she had been murdered by a soldier who hadn't made it through the war, or by the father of her child. Some thought that Bella might have been a part of a traveller community that had been camped in the area at the time. But 2 other theories, involving the occult and espionage respectively, have stood the test of time. It was Professor Margaret Murray who theorised that Bella's murder could be linked to the occult. She suggested that Bella's severed hand could be a sign of a black magic ritual known as the Hand of Glory. Murray believed that Bella's case was related to the murder of Charles Walton in the nearby village of Lower Quinton. He had been found pinned to the ground by a pitchfork. The press revelled in the idea that both murders were linked to the occult. The police even looked into the theory and determined that Bella's finger bones had likely been scavenged by animals. As with other lines of inquiry, the trail went cold. While the occult theory seems far-fetched, a much more plausible one involves espionage. This theory has more weight behind it because during World War II, Birmingham and the Midlands had a plethora of munitions factories, which would have been perfect targets for German spy rings. Indeed, many German spies were captured during the war, and at the time Bella died there were rumours circulating in the area of Hagley Wood that German spies were parachuting into the area. In 1953, Wolverhampton Express and Star columnist Wilfred Byford Jones revived interest in the case when he featured it in the newspaper. It didn't take long for the journalist to receive a letter from a woman calling herself Anna, who gave credence to the espionage theory when she wrote, "The affair is closed and involves no witches, black magic, or moonlight rites. Much as I hate having to use a nom de plume, I think you would appreciate it if you knew me. The only clues I can give you are that the person responsible for the crime died insane in 1942, and the victim was Dutch and arrived in England illegally about 1941. I have no wish to recall any more." Could Anna have been referring to Clara Dronkers, a relative of Johann Marinus Dronkers, a Dutch spy who was executed by the British during the war? Anna did eventually meet with police and informed them of a spy ring in the Midlands that was passing on intelligence to the Germans about munitions and aircraft factories in the area. She said that her ex-husband, a Dutchman called Van Raalte, and Bella were all part of this spy ring. Anna reported that her ex-husband was present when Bella was put in the tree hollow. And could Anna be the woman named Una Mossop who made a statement to the police about Bella in 1953? According to Una, her cousin Jack Mossop had told his family that he and a Dutchman named Van Raalte had put Bella in the Wych-Elm. Mossop had met Van Raalte for a drink at the Littleton Arms, a pub in Hagley. Van Raalte had brought a Dutchwoman with him. After the woman drank too much and passed out, Mossop and Van Raalte put her in the tree in the hopes that when she woke up, she would be shocked into seeing the error of her ways. Una said that her cousin ended up being confined to a Stafford mental hospital, where he died before Bella's skeleton was discovered. The reason for Mossop being sent to a mental hospital? Mossop had been experiencing recurring dreams of a woman staring out at him from a tree. Interestingly, the idea of Bella being involved in a spy ring was given even more weight when the MI5 released some of its files from World War II. The case of Joseph Jacobs, an agent who was arrested after parachuting into Cambridgeshire in January 1941, came to light. Jacobs kept on him a photograph of the German singer and actress Clara Bauerle. Jacobs claimed that Clara was a secret agent who had intended on parachuting into the Midlands in 1941. The fact that Clara was born in 1906 meant that she was of a similar age to Bella. According to an article by The Independent, Clara spent a couple of years working in music halls in the Midlands before World War II began. Is it possible that she was known to English music hall audiences as Clara Bella? Due to the links between the names Clara Bauerle and Clara Bella, many have wondered if Bella is in fact Clara Bauerle. Oddly enough, there appears to be no record of Clara Bauerle after 1941, the year Bella would have died. 73 years have passed since Bella was found in the Wych-Elm, and it is highly unlikely that Bella's true identity and that of her murderer will ever be uncovered. The police acknowledged that a DNA investigation would be worthy, but such a test will probably never happen. Bella's remains were lost after they were given to a colleague of Professor Webster. The police closed Bella's case file in 2005 after reviewing the case and coming to the conclusion that all leads had been exhausted. But there is no doubt that Bella is still on the minds of many people. Graffiti found on a piece of cardboard near Hagley Wood in June 2016 asked, who put Bella in the Wych-Elm. Thank you for watching this episode of Into the Cold. Look out for a new episode next Saturday. I wish you pleasant nightmares.